Yo, what's up, my people? Millionaire Mike is back. SBS, short back and sides, and I'm back with another episode, man. And today, man, we're going to talk about the boxing, the much anticipated bout between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. And this fight again takes place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on the 8th of March, and it's tipped to be an amazing fight. Now, for those of you who remember, Francis Ngannou made his professional debut against Tyson Fury, which was an exhilarating fight, some may say. The result essentially divided opinions. Some people believe that Ngannou won the fight. Others believe that Tyson Fury actually won that fight. I myself thought it was a very close fight. To begin with, I didn't think that Francis Ngannou had a chance to actually defeat Tyson Fury. But the fight itself proved to be a lot more closer than none of us could anticipate, to be honest with you. I think Francis Ngannou showed that he could mix it with the best of them. And I think as a result of that fight, and as a result of Francis Ngannou's performance in that fight, it's given him the opportunity to face AJ, which I think will be an interesting fight because, you know, both of them are essentially, you know, both strong men to begin with, you know, physically well chiseled. I still give AJ the edge over Francis Ngannou simply by virtue of the fact that Francis Ngannou will be his second outing as a professional heavyweight boxer, whereas Anthony Joshua has held, you know, the three belts, the three heavyweight belts, besides the much coveted WBC belt, which was held by Deontay Wilder at the time. So by that, I think that AJ essentially is proven to be the favorite with the betting, but also with the boxing sporting public. However, we can't write off Francis Ngannou because Francis Ngannou essentially shocked the world by landing an amazing left hook against Tyson Fury during the last fight, and that proved to be quite a spectacular knockdown by the MMA heavyweight fighter. So my fight predictions, to be honest with you, if I were to call it, if I was a betting man, I will probably think that AJ stops Ngannou around round 5 or round 6. I don't think that Ngannou will be able to be as prolific as he was with Tyson Fury. I think that, you know, in terms of power, punching accuracy, but more importantly, AJ coming off of a win from Otawale and having knocked out Otawale in his last fight, I think AJ will go into this fight full of confidence, full of flair, and I think he'll be willing to and probably wanting to knock out Francis Ngannou. I don't think the fight will go the distance, in my opinion. I think around 5 and 6 we'll probably see, you know, Ngannou probably taking a knockdown and potentially being finished off in round 6. But in saying that, who knows? Ngannou, with his power, with his strength, and with his desire to succeed, you know, we may well see another upset. We may well see another close fight. I think for the boxing public and for the boxing pundits, I've heard so many interesting feedback. Some people are saying that, look, if AJ loses his fight, his career is done. If Ngannou wins this fight, he could potentially ascend into, you know, heavyweight dominance. I mean, I think, you know, the media essentially are making a mountain out of a molehill as far as this fight is concerned. It's very difficult to predict these fights, and it's very difficult to predict the outcome of these fights and what happens thereafter. I think for the boxing public, for the fighting fans like myself, we all want to see this fight. We want to see how this fight happens. And I think, you know, primarily it's about bringing some excitement into fighting sport, combat sport, and having Ngannou and AJ share the ring, you know, in circumstances that would not have normally happened. I think it's already a win. And the outcome of the fight, irrespective of whether AJ wins, if AJ wins, effectively he's expected to win, being that he's a boxer, professional boxer, having, you know, developed his craft in this particular sport for a very long time. It's a given. You know, he probably doesn't really get the respect that some of us would like to accord him because of by the mere fact that he's beaten or he's about to beat a fighter that comes from a completely different discipline. Now, on the other hand, if Ngannou wins this fight, you know, sky's the limit for Ngannou. There's the potential of him fighting other heavyweight fighters, and, you know, I would like to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Who would you like Ngannou to fight next? Dean White maybe. There's so many other fighters, Joseph Parker. I mean, you name them. I think, or even Deontay Wilder, possibly. I mean, he might as well go for a hat trick, really. I think Deontay Wilder and Ngannou will be a good fight. It'll be good to see, and I think he'll be ballsy of Ngannou to take on three of the best heavyweights at the time. And certainly, I would like to see Ngannou fight Deontay Wilder after the AJ fight, irrespective of the result. I think it'll be a cracking opportunity for those two men to share the ring. Now, in terms of where does AJ go from here? Should AJ win this fight, does the boxing public, could the media and the press and the vloggers and people like myself essentially force a fight that everyone in the UK wants to see? And that's the Tyson Fury versus AJ fight. I think all of us in the UK, we're dying to see this fight. Fury's been talking a lot of smack about AJ and about, all the rest of the heavyweight division fighters. And I think for me, it'll be interesting to see how this fight pans out, if it does ever happen. And I certainly would like to see that fight happening. I think it'll be a cracking fight. That fight is most likely to take place either in Riyadh or potentially in Wembley Stadium. I think the fact that these two men are British fighters would be an absolute opportunity and a tragedy if that fight wouldn't take place in the UK. And I think the British boxing public would feel quite robbed by it. So if that fight were ever to happen, please make it happen in the UK Wembley Stadium, and I'll be sure to head down and have a look. Now, as far as Francis Ngannou is concerned, I mean, look, the man is cashing out. He's 37 years old. There isn't much left of him, as far as his fighting career is concerned. We've seen him in various movies, and he may well potentially, embark into another career outside of fighting. But certainly, what I'd like to see Ngannou do, if I had a choice in the matter, is I'd like to see him fight Deontay Wilder. I think it'd be great if we can arrange for that fight later in the year, just to see how, that fight happens between the two. But also from an MMA point of view, it'll be great if him and John Jones can finally get it cracking. I think those two have been going back and forth at it for quite a long time. Recent posts on social media, I've seen them essentially sizing each other up and meeting each other, in cordial manner, in a civilized manner. And I think as sports fans and fight fans around the world would love to see those two fight. So I think Francis has definitely got opportunities to rack up the bank balance and have two massive fights before he decides to call it a day. Should he decide to call it a day? I mean, a 37-year-old African is probably no different from a 25-year-old, everyday person. Africans are built tough, and they also renowned to reduce their age quite dramatically because they seem to have found a fountain of youth. So who knows? He could potentially be fighting well into his 40s, like Luis Ortiz has been fighting into his 50s, as some will argue in the boxing world. So who knows? But one thing for sure is that, the boys at Showback and Sides will be tuning in. We'll be certainly bringing you all of the fight reactions, all of our comments and commentary on it. And that's what we do, man. We talk gal, we talk sport, we talk money, we talk cars, we talk everything that, you would find in a barbershop, man. That's just what we do. But until then, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tune in on the main shows. We're cooking up some more stuff in the studio. We should be bringing you some really nice, interesting topics over the next few weeks. So stay tuned, man. Keep rocking with us, man. I'm Millionaire Mike. I'm signing off, and I'll see you soon. Peace!